Is this, it is on. It is on. Okay, great. You know, warm-up's over. The point of this concert is to tell you a little bit, just a little tiny, tiny little bit, just like that Michael Jackson movie that only went up to the first half. I was like, wait a minute, the movie's over, I still don't know anything about the guy. That's what you're gonna get. Don't expect anything at this point spectacular after that. Because I'm gonna play for you what I played in my childhood. How did I get here? How did I end up playing Rachmaninoff 3, 42,000 notes in 42 minutes? How did I end up speaking to 8 European countries about my philosophy, my journey? How did I teach many international piano teachers to teach their students from day one, playing the Mozart Sonata in C major, which I will do today? Yeah, how did I get here? Well, I'm not gonna tell you today. Today I will tell you just the beginning, kind of like the Michael movie, up to my first victory. Just my first victory, the only victory I had. Yep, up to then. All right, but it is recording. Oh, I got it. Well, in that case, anyway, so when I was talking to these people around the world, they already have a certain expectation that I'm going to do something like that, right? But when I say that I can teach them to teach their students, the danger is, well, what you do is what you do. How does it apply to me? So increasingly, I have seen the importance of me telling how I actually began, okay? And it all hinges on these pieces that I'm about to play. I have to tell you, they're easy. Problem is, they don't sound easy. So for me to prove to you that they are indeed easy, I'm going to do it blindfolded. You can check this. This is. I found the first note. Now, you know how in movies they have this filming technique. It's called a montage, where it expands a long period of time, right? Here's the story. It's not my story. It's my grandfather's story, my mom's story, my teacher's story. What did I do? All I do was participate a little bit. My grandfather was rich. He was famous in China, Shanghai. He had his own choir called the Shanghai Chorus, the Shanghai Chorus. He was featured in film, he had his own records, and he retired early in the big city. He had a wall made of brick as his fence, not made from wood, and he had a koi pond, and I get to look at fish when I visit him. Well, I actually live with him. Why? My mom, she was the brat of the bunch. She did not listen to my grandfather and practice the piano. Yep, she even dropped out of high school. Married my handsome dad, she says. Yep, the only reason I married him, she says. She ended up working in a factory, and when she had me, she says, I should have listened to Daddy. My son will not live like me. So she gave me away. Yep, made that huge sacrifice, gave me away to my grandfather to live with them. Because under him, I get the opportunity to study music. Well, I started, I guess, when I was born. Hardly ever see my mother. My grandfather tried to teach me, and for 4 years, I got to that level. Now, just before you think, oh, that doesn't sound easy at all, yeah, it's pretty common. It's pretty common to get to that level in 4 years of training. I started at 4. Before that, I don't remember, but by 8, I was playing that. Well, problem. Why did it take 8 years when I didn't know this at the time? YouTube, none. Internet, none. Exposure, none. That 4-year-olds can play that. I didn't know that. So I thought I was doing okay. And I didn't like practicing one bit. Why? Because I had a black and white TV to watch. You know? Yeah. I wanted to watch TV right after homework. But nope. Mom asked grandfather to make sure I don't become like how my mom was. All right. And then I come to America at the age of 9.5. There's a side story to that, how Senator Bob Dole made that happen, but I'm not going to get into it today. So for the next 4 years, guess what? I got stuck at that level. Why? All of a sudden, grandfather's rich, mom and dad not rich. I had to sleep on the floor. I had a bed, a yard. I still have a yard, but it's 1/4 of the size. Kansas. Yeah. All right, well, 4 years, no piano at home. Can't afford it, nowhere to put it. No teacher. Mom makes me practice. For what? Because you don't want to end up like me. Musicians are the one that's rich. Look at your grandfather. Yeah. She had no concept of the starving artist, because she grew up under rich grandpa. So he said, you got to be the pianist. Even if you end up just teaching 20 students, charging $50 an hour, you'll be fine, right? All the places in China where I showed you, people were pulling a rickshaw and selling fruit from 9 to 5. You said you didn't want to do it. So you got to practice piano. I was 9 years old. I didn't want to practice piano, especially there's no, all right? So now I'm going to do a montage of everything that I played for 4 years. finish that one. And then I came to New York after Kansas. Instead of practicing after school, that's how she did it. Mom and Dad went to the principal and says, can he practice your piano after school? Principal says, nobody ever asked us that, so of course. That's wonderful. Wow. All right. So, and then in New York, it was same thing. Church. After church, I practiced in church. 2 hours before I could even go home. For what? For that. For that. What did I do? I wanted to play video games. So I played Super Mario. And Mom says, stop playing Super Mario. You got to go practice. I said, I already did my practice. I said, no, I mean tomorrow you practice and then come home, do homework. No Super Mario. I said, Mom, I'm practicing. I'm practicing. Every time I play a video game, I'm practicing. She says, what? I said, take a listen to this. Actually, it sounded like this. You know? And then I watched Superman. Last year I did the entire Superman score, and it didn't sound childish like that. But for that, I need to take my blindfold off to do all that. Not today. So for 4 years, I have played music just without any training, and listened to Mario over and over again, and Superman, I watched it over and over again, until the church pianist died of cancer. And I was the only pianist in the congregation left. So they hired me, and then, okay, so little children pieces became a little bit of video game pieces, and now I have to learn all the hymns. There you go, got my start playing hymns. Age 12, somebody mentioned in church, a stranger actually, and says, you're so good at the piano. I said, oh, thank you so much. Have you heard of the Juilliard School? I said, no, what is that? He said, it's a school for gifted people. I want you to audition, consider that. Give me your phone number, I want to talk to your dad. I said, no, I'm not giving you my phone number, you're a stranger, you give me your phone number and he can call you. So my father did, and he says, please have your son audition for the Juilliard School. And it was at that time my dad says, well, we got to find him a piano teacher. And we found the same piano teacher that was training me in China, and he taught me this piece. Please excuse the mistakes. I didn't see where I was going. All right. Well, everything I played up to there is the easy stuff. I'm coaching these piano teachers to teach that piece to any beginner, any intermediate, any advanced, no, up to intermediate from day one. And I can take any one of you up here within 10 minutes, you're playing 4 bars. Any one of you. Doesn't matter who it is. Now, I'm not going to get into that today because I still didn't like the piano. Can you imagine 8 years playing at that level, never advancing? The only thing that advanced was boredom, so I played it faster and faster and faster. So today, I can play that first piece. So no wonder people thought I was great at church. Out of boredom, I just keep playing. What does the muscle do? It has it has no choice but to obey because it's your body. No intelligence. It's boredom that got me my technique. Because 8 years, I cannot stop practicing. My mom just made me do it because she was so convinced. You know, even I found out that and my dad found out that musicians starve. He's like, why are you doing this? He says, well, you have no idea how my dad lived. That's the kind of life I want for my son. And they have arguments. And I watched them argue. And I said, what am I doing? This is not how I imagine life to be turning out. I do want to become a lawyer, a doctor. Why not? Yeah, save people, defend criminals. Why not? Why not, right? A lot of confusion going on. But the piano is just, Yep. And then I get beat up on the street due to racism, I think. Maybe it's just my face, because they punched it out. Put me to the ground. I learned Kung Fu, defeated all of them. True story. Had my own gang. Anyway, but I wanted to go to a safe high school. My grandfather sends me a tape of Arthur Rubinstein, world-class pianist, black and white documentary. And I said, Juilliard didn't accept me. They did not accept me. In fact, they banned that piece from their allowed audition pieces after my audition. I found that out. They banned that piece, the Mozart. How dare anyone audition to our school with Mozart's easiest sonata? Every other sonata is fine, just not that one. That little kid, how dare he, right? Okay, well. So in my opinion, I said, I need to do something more difficult. And grandfather just showed me a world-class concert pianist playing these pieces. And I think, what's the easiest one there? No. Oh, okay, this one sounds doable. Talk to my teacher. Can I learn this one? He says, no, it's way above your level. We can't just do that. You got to ease yourself way, into it. And I said, oh, okay, makes sense. Yeah, okay. I learned it in secret. 6 months. All right. Would you believe me if I told you all I looked for in the score was just the notes, because I did not understand all these dotted rhythm and triplets and everything, and I played alongside with the video to get all that mannerisms in. And it was like, this is out of rhythm. Why? Because he took liberties. When I auditioned to the LaGuardia High School of Music Art, they let me know right away, I'm in the school. I had did I say I only had one win? No, 2 wins. Small victory. Got into LaGuardia. And they made me say, and then say, how come your rhythm is off? I said, well, I gotta be musical, right? Had no idea what the rhythm was. I did it through imitation, including the fish shake at the end. Yep, all fakery, impersonation. Because I figured if the concert pianist is doing it that way, it must be correct. I got in. I met a girl. Yep, life changes when you meet a girl. The theory teacher had a plan. Before school even began, he knew she's coming to his class. They had a plan. He says, the first day of theory class, I'm going to call on you and you're going to perform for us. She says, oh, okay. She's a full scholarship, handpicked by Juilliard because of her winnings in Shanghai, China, where I grew up, to come to the United States, study under a scholarship, all expenses paid, living expenses, everything. So this is the kind of person that I never ever met in my life. First day of theory class, hey, who plays, anybody got their violin with them? He didn't want a violinist, no. Well, I got a piano here. Who would like to play something? I raised my hand. I thought I was great because I got into the school. I got this concert pianist piece. She also raised her hand. He didn't even look my way. She says, hey, young lady, would you like to come up and play something for us? She played Chopin Ballade No. 3. I was sitting very close to the blackboard. The piano was right here, facing away. And nobody else could see what I saw. After she finished playing, I realized that this thing here, I never felt it before, but I felt it. Yeah, that's what happens when a girl plays beautiful music. Oh yeah, she was beautiful too, but she played beautiful music. And I thought, wait a minute, what is that? I didn't know it was Chopin because I thought Chopin was, big and robust and simple. It's just bang the heck out of it. I got muscles, So I went up to her and says, Michelle, I know she was Michelle because the teacher called her by name. What kind of music is that? And she says, it's Chopin. Chopin, oh, I know Chopin. Wait a minute, how long did it take you to learn that? And she says, oh, about 3 weeks. About 3 weeks? Over 3, about, yeah, 3 weeks. What in the world? Did I just enter a different earth? Is this an alternate universe? No YouTube, no exposure. I went back crying to Mommy. I said, Mommy, I thought I played pretty good, but I met a girl and she played way better than me. And Mom says, get her phone number. Get her phone number. I said, huh? I thought you wanted me to focus on school. I said, no, you knucklehead. I have questions for her. Who she studies with. Where does she go to school? That kind of, how much does she practice? I said, Mom, come on. You and this piano thing on me, I just got defeated, okay? I'm not doing any of that. Let me just finish high school and we'll go from there. She said, nope. No phone number, no dinner. Until you get the phone number. Mom, I could only cook ramen noodles. Yeah, ramen noodles every day. They're only 5 cents. Yeah, you can afford it. Hey, Michelle, my mom wants me to get your phone number. Yeah, right. What do you need it for? I said, well, we have questions for you. I'm not giving you my phone number. You give me yours so I can call you when I'm ready after I finish practicing. By the way, how much do you practice a day? 3 hours? Ooh, I only do 2. Okay. Thank you. She calls me that night. He says, what do you need? I said, Mom. Ask her who she studies with. Who do you study with? Catherine Parker. Okay, at the Juilliard School. Juilliard School, Catherine Parker, will she listen to you play and take you as her student? We already know what Juilliard is like, okay? Can you ask your teacher to maybe hear me play and maybe take me as a student? She says, are you any good? I say, yeah, I can play Chopin. Okay, I'll ask. Anything else? No. The next day, I got an appointment, and I played the same thing. Any guesses whether she took me in? Nope. She agreed to see me, but she didn't have time now in her calendar to actually book me. I just got so upset. I bet my face turned red and my eyes turned red. And my mom, everything, my whole life, she makes me do stuff. I participated, sure. I forgot to tell you, she actually had to pay me, and then church paid me. That's what kept me in, money, only money. Anyway, so she finally said, follow me. And then I met her colleague, and guess what I played? Turn around, he's like, are you her student? I said, no. What's going on here? Why did you play that like that? It turns out I wasn't that great of an impersonator. Whatever wrong rhythm he did, I did more wrong. And so I says, okay. I hear Michelle play. I go home and talk to my mom, and then he says, wow, very interesting. I love your mom. I think you're talented if you learn that piece in 6 months, but I gotta be honest with you, young man, that is a 3-day piece. What? Yeah, I'll teach you. I'll show you how that's a 3-day piece. Here are your assignments. Go get these books. I charge $125 an hour, and I'm gonna give you scholarship up front because I don't do discounts. Scholarship, $80. I know that's almost double your current fee, I know, but hey, you're never gonna get an opportunity like this ever again. We don't go out and we just take people. Talk to your mom, talk to your dad. Scholarship up front. They may not agree. Scholarship up front. I said, okay, I'll mention it. My mom and dad argue for 3 days, and I call Mr. Faber and says, it's a go. He says, usually people don't take this long to accept my offer. Anyway, yep. 4 lessons, because it's a trial month. Lesson number 1, we sit at the sofa, eating cookies, drinking orange juice, and he asked me more about my life. Entire lesson, $80. Here you go, talk, leave. Lesson number 2, cookies, orange juice. He talked the entire session about all his students. I said, I don't need you to show off to me. I think you're impressive already just because. He says, this one won the competition here, and that one won the competition there, and I got drafted out of Juilliard, straight to the Juilliard School as a teacher. Didn't even need to have any fame. This is straight away. Yep. And ding dong, oh, Amanda's here. I'll see you next week. $80. Cookies. Go home, come back, 3rd lesson, listen to music. 45 minutes listening to music. Yep. And then the last 10 minutes, he says, oh yeah, one of these, 14 pages long, here's your assignment. I said, finally, I get to learn something. Oh no, I'm not gonna teach it to you. You promised your dad, because he was able to pay this tuition, that you're gonna practice 3 hours a day, just like Michelle, right? I found that out, right? Okay, do that. I need you to memorize the whole thing in 1 week. I said, that's impossible. He says, well, we'll see about that. I go home, I learned half of it, didn't even memorize it. Come back, 4th lesson, he teaches me for real, and in 1 lesson, I'm sold. Next week, got the whole thing. Yep. How did that happen? Same brain, same talents. A lot of you say I'm talented. I'm telling you, that's not, that may begin things, but you gotta do stuff. All right. What did Michelle play that started all this? The Chopin Ballade number 3. kids today are so, you don't get, if you see it all over the place all the time, which they do, it doesn't feel that special. But to me, that day, it's one thing to see this old world-class pianist. Of course he can do that. But to see a 14-year-old, somebody my age do that, did I feel good? No. I went home complaining to mommy. And then the Juilliard teacher took me in because of her strong belief that I could make it as a musician. I didn't believe it for 1 second. I didn't think I was smart at the piano at all because I was stuck and I was just made to do it. I didn't love it. I love what she did. Well, Mr. Faber took me in 4 lessons. I asked him, can I learn that piece too? I know I learned a different piece, which I'm not going to showcase today, because it's actually easier than this one. I asked him, can I learn that one in maybe, 2 months? And he said, what are you talking about? 3 weeks, just like Michelle. Now you know some of my methods. Did I do it in 3 weeks? No. No. Did it in 4. Yeah. And I started teaching piano because of it, because Mom took me to a friend's house. And they had these method books where at year 4, you get to play the first piece that I played today. And year 6, you get to play that Mozart piece that I played. And I found out how you can play all those and teach in lesson 1. And I said, who's using these books? And Nora says, my daughters. I said, no. Okay, why? Because I had an emotional reaction. I could have been, now that I know. Now they can be doing this. I did that, the mom was like, no way. I took piano too. It took me 4 years to get to that. I said, no. That's right next to each other, one note after another. How do you mess that up? That's a scale. It's stepwise. You can't mess that up. They can learn that right now, at least the concept of it, And so I don't believe you. Get over, come. I'm signaling to the daughter, and the daughter goes, Mom says, get over here. Yeah, 20 minutes later, she played 4 bars of the Mozart. Mom says, how you even think to do? Oh, I learned it from the Juilliard teacher. Oh, really? You go to Juilliard? No, he just took me in. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can easily show you what he's teaching me. Okay, done. How much do you charge? Well, he charges $120. I'm not him, so I'll give it to you for $80. I just said it. And then I was like, what did I just say? And he says, well, can we at least try it out? How about $50, but both of my daughters? $100 a week? Mr. Faber is now free. I get $20 to keep for myself. My dad doesn't have to pay. Deal! Success with those 2. And then more students, because they did a personal recital, 45 minutes, the 2 of them, all memorized, including the Mozart. Yeah, we did more than that. So I had a fantastic New York career. Yep. And during lesson 3, we listened to music. And one of them was the Hungarian Rhapsody. And he said, yeah, that's a 2-day piece because, there's 4 sections. You learn this. It's all written very simple, right? Because the melody is a lot of stepwise. You can't. And what's easier than stepwise? If you repeat. Stepwise, all stepwise. I said, yeah, that sounds simple. Yeah, even I can do it. He said, but you don't understand. It's in octaves. And you have to play 3 minutes of octaves. Who can last that long just doing this? He said, you got to work up to it. So it's not one for the intelligence, it's one for the body, but it's sure impressive the sounding, isn't it? I did learn it, but it took me 3 months to get up to speed. So there's 2 different things. There's work for the mind, and you can accelerate that, but you can't excel the body. But for the body, most of it is simple. So anything you hear me play fast, not very impressive. All the slow stuff, more impressive. Now, the first piece that you heard, before I even started talking, 10 years working on it. Yep. There are expectations when I do a concert. It's usually the big stuff. But you guys, I can relax a little bit and tell you my story. So, I'm going to play the Rhapsody just for fun. It's not that hard. It's just challenging for the body. Thank you. Well, if what can happen in 3 months leads me to that, what happens in 1 year? Got into Juilliard with full scholarship? No, not full. She got the full scholarship. I was dreaming out loud just right now. I only got partial scholarship, 75%. Just like the Michael movie, I'm going to end the story right here on a win. Yes. What I also did was because, see, everything has a reason now, I believe. That all that video game, all that movies, right? Now that I have a better understanding of music, I still did that. Well, the Juilliard teacher didn't train me how to do that. It was just a side hobby. So I'm going to play something from a video game. I did it before, and a lot of you asked me, what was that? Well, today you find out it's from a video game. Yep. What about all that improvisation? Somebody give me your phone number. Somebody give me your phone number. Call it out loud. Go ahead. What's your name? Deb. What's your phone number? Just the last, not the area code. 437-3839. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4, 3, 7, 3, 8, 3. Yeah. So I just want to say to you, this is what they asked me when I was speaking on Zoom to all these people. They asked me, Kenneth, if you can just say 3 things at the end to motivate the kids and the adults and whoever to think unlimited, what would you say? I said, first, develop the unlimited mind. Nothing's impossible. You find a limitation, you get excited about it, don't complain about it, undo the limitation. Every limitation is an opportunity to think undoing. Once you train your mind to be unstoppable that way, instead of complaining and bickering and all this, getting into depression, whatever, right, your mind just automatically says, hey, what can we do about it? At least ask that question, open the mind up. Number 2, you work first, play later. Or you play first and work later. Number 3, share it with the world. Thank you.